Son of a career naval officer. He was a doctor, and he inspired my will to serve, to come into the Marine Corps. I graduated from West Virginia University in 1996, played baseball there, and decided that I wanted to serve in the Marine Corps, so I went to OCS in 1999. I had an uncle that served, was a career Marine Corps officer. He served in Vietnam, and I didn't really know much about his service in the Marine Corps until I was in high school. And I started researching awards and those kind of things, and I found out that he had served with distinction throughout the Vietnam War and then wrapped up his career and retired out of Parris Island in the mid-'80s. There was a pretty significant lull between there and the time that I served, but I always had aspired to be a Marine because in my mind the Marines were the best, and I wanted to be part of that service. I always said I would stay until I stopped having fun, and there was always a challenge. And each new job brings a different challenge, and I think everywhere I've been, I've enjoyed serving with the Marines, and I really enjoyed being part of the best team. And I think that's what's made me want to remain a Marine. I would say I'm proud of the fact that I've been able to serve as long as I have, and I've served in some really unique billets and had some really amazing experiences. When I was stationed at the Pentagon, we met a lot of the community that came up for the DC fly-in, and that's a unique event. Simply that the community takes its leaders, they come up and talk to the Deputy Commandant for installation and logistics, and then they spend the afternoon with their representatives over on the Hill. So that was my first meeting of the folks down here, and we definitely have just been embraced by the community from the start at the change of command, all the way through the city's 4th of July celebration, and then on into the Salty Sandbagger, and every engagement with the local community has been very positive so far. Albany is obviously much smaller on a scale when I compare it to the other installations that I've been. And I would say the mission here is what makes it unique. The support of the tenants truly is a global mission. LOGCOM in specific is supporting global missions across the world and supporting units all over the Marine Corps. So I think that's what makes it unique, and that's what makes Albany special for the Marine Corps. So I think my predecessors have done a tremendous job on the first part of the mission, which is providing the infrastructure, utilities, and spaces that supports those tenants' global missions. And I think the second part of our mission is to improve the quality of life for all the Marine sailors and families that are stationed here, and I want to focus on that. The unique thing about most construction projects in the Marine Corps is that you never get to see them from start to finish. So you will always end up continuing on your predecessor's work and building on what they've started. And I think the net zero is a perfect example. I mean, that started back over a decade ago. A lot of commanders and their staffs have worked diligently to make that happen. Becoming the first net zero installation in DoD is a huge accomplishment. And I think the small stature of the base itself allows us to experiment and take on a lot of innovation that bigger installations just can't afford to do. So I think we are ripe for investment, and it's good for DoD to test prototypes down here, and we'll take those as far as we can. I think that's one of the best parts about Albany, is that the Military Affairs Committee, the local community, having a lot of retirees, folks that have served and continue to serve on base, they really seem to embrace the Marines here, and they embrace the Marines' families as well. So integrating within those community activities, and then I'd like to see the community come on and invest more in the base as well. So opening up the base for things like the 4th of July celebration is just the beginning. I'm hoping that the marathon that we're planning to run in February will draw a large crowd and lots of participants from the local area and across the state. We hope to make that an annual event. That'll be a big deal for the area. I think most of the things to make us successful we probably learned in kindergarten. But we should always trust those leaders that have been before us. There's no exchange for experience and those that have been there before. So leaning on their experience and their knowledge and asking those questions, those tough questions when we don't have the answers, seeking those out and going to those with experience and ask what happened before and what's different today.